Welcome to the fifth and final module in the Clinical Faculty Pedagogical Knowledge for Undergraduate Medical Education program. This module will conclude the program with a review of the faculty development opportunities available at national organizations we rely on for content specific to our areas of medical practice. We will explore how faculty development has evolved from a behaviorist and cognitive approach to faculty education, where learning opportunities are designed, sequenced, and delivered by teaching experts in a social, cognitive, and social constructive approach. Faculty education on a higher level becomes an interactive and highly social process involving all stakeholders, from the newest learner to the highest ranked institutional officer, working together within a zone of proximal development model where all participants share and build on their knowledge and skills. This is a process that is highly developed in general education and K through 12 education, and one that is coming into its own in medical education. Here is a list of clinical specialties that have national organizations that provide support specific to an area of clinical practice. I have included the Association of American Medical Colleges, or the AAMC, as the AAMC provides a great deal of information regarding medical education. Again, links are provided to each of these organizations on the module page. Teacher professional development has been an interest in medical education research for decades. Professional development is intended to inspire change in teacher practice. Models to bring about teacher change date back to 1986, as described by Gutsky in 2002. Gutsky and colleagues created a model that includes a sequence of events presented over time that provides professional development experiences to change teacher attitudes and perceptions. The model of teacher change begins with professional development that inspires teachers to change their classroom practices. If the new practices are indeed effective, then student learning outcomes will change due to the changes in teacher practice. The intended result is to change teachers' beliefs and attitudes. Once teachers see how professional development activities have produced results that have changed measures of student learning outcomes, then teachers will understand the value of professional development and how changes in classroom practices can improve student performance, as described by Gutsky again in 2002. This research is carried out in general education and not medical education, but it is easy to imagine this model can function well in medical education. Dedicated clinical educators want their learners to succeed in their medical professional careers. Faculty professional development is a part of that goal. Darling-Hammond et al. In 2017 presented a meta-analysis of studies published over 30 years that met specific methodological criteria for inclusion on what constitutes effective professional development. Recommendations include the following. Number one, identify and develop expert teachers that can act as mentors and coaches to support professional development. Number two, establish new learning standards. Number three, use student data to inform instruction. Number four, create an inclusive, positive learning environment. Number five, provide flexible continuing education experiences that encourage and support sustained efforts in teaching collaboration, mentoring, and coaching. Darling-Hammond et al. In 2017 and Gutsky in 2002 share a commitment to faculty development designed to improve learner outcomes in K through 12 and general education, spanning a 15-year time frame. These goals and recommendations presented are similar to medical education here at our institutions and medical education nationally. Learning Forward in 2011 addressed K through 12 education needs that include a public demand that educators provide the resources, materials, and experiences students require to succeed in all school years, regardless of the huge differences in demographic, economic, cultural, and technological resources that affect student learning. Learning Forward describes professional development as a program that delivers content to faculty with the expectation the content will be applied in traditional top-down approach. This contrasts with Learning Forward's definition of professional learning. Rather than a top-down approach, professional learning is more of an all-hands-on-deck approach. The standards for professional learning defined by Learning Forward expect that the delivery of an education program is a social undertaking where all the stakeholders, not just faculty, manage expectations and share responsibility for the success or failure of a program. Learning Forward in 2011, learning communities increase educator effectiveness for students when committed to continuous improvement, collective responsibility, and shared goals. Leadership is required from those who create, advocate, and support professional learning. Resources need to be prioritized, monitored, and coordinated in support of professional learning. Data must be collected and analyzed so stakeholders can plan, assess, and evaluate professional learning outcomes. Learning designs integrates theories, research, and principles of learning to achieve intended outcomes. Implementation applies research findings on change and supports application of professional learning that results in long-term change. Outcomes place responsibility on all stakeholders to align student performance as a guide to design student curriculum objectives. Bright et al. In 2015 described the continuous improvement cycle as a strategy to identify goals after analysis and understanding an educational problem, model and plan an intervention, carry out the intervention, assess the effect of the intervention, and then rethink how effective the intervention was. Finally, a decision needs to be made of what the intervention, of whether the intervention stays and or what goes. Start again with what is next. Given that Bright borrowed improvement cycles from healthcare, used it and used it for K through 12 and general education improvement, we should now feel free to take it back for medical education. This program is an example of clinical faculty professional development, but not professional learning. As an online asynchronous program, we are sharing content, are communicating with each other through the questionnaire and reflection activities, but we are not creating a formal learning community. We are not meeting any of the Learning Forward 2011 expectations for true professional learning. Has professional learning been undertaken at other medical education institutions? Finn et al. In 2011 defined peer evaluation in lecture or small group teaching. The work of clinical educators is recognized as complex, hectic, and requires innovative teaching that is adaptive to the ever-changing clinical learning environment. The program described in this article is similar to the coaches and consultation services available at many medical schools. These programs do provide mentoring, coaching, and can form the core of a learning community, as described in Learning Forward from 2011. Singh et al. In 2013 argue that teachers' belief in their ability to teach, in other words, their teacher self-efficacy belief, directly influences how much of new content presented during faculty development is applied in their clinical teaching practice. The educational theoretical frame for this study comes directly from Bandura's social cognitive framework, while the longitudinal faculty development program that was developed, implemented, and evaluated at 3 sites around the world reflect an understanding of social constructivism. The program undertaken by Singh et al. In 2013 reflect many of the collective principles of professional learning described by Learning Forward in 2011. Professional learning appears to be an approach that is actively being pursued in medical education. This module concludes this program and focuses on what you as a clinical educator can contribute as a member of the faculty of your institution. This program is an online version of a traditional teacher professional development program. I hope that you found your time spent in this program to have been worthwhile. If you feel more confident in your knowledge and skill, or your teacher self-efficacy has improved as described in social cognitive theory, then I hope you will be more confident as a clinical educator working with your learners. Your increased confidence and increased participation will speak to your role as an educational leader in your department and at your medical school. I am sure your increased participation will be welcomed heartily by the education leadership in your department and in your institution. As you build confidence, pedagogical knowledge, and teaching skill, I hope you will continue to pursue leadership or administrative opportunities in your department and your institution related to education. Your medical school's educational mission very much needs you and your contribution. As we conclude this module, I will ask you to reflect and share your insights about future directions you would like to see your institution take in teacher professional development and education after this program is done.